So let me try and explain this, even though I'm very long-winded. You tell me if I'm going on too long. We're doing a crossover event. So we are doing two different interviews. She's interviewing me, then I'll be interviewing her. But as you're watching this, you might already know whether or not this interview is happening on her channel or my channel, because she gets to decide which of the two interviews she wants on her channel. The general idea is that we met in a comments section of a video I posted. You said to me, I have a history similar to yours and would love to interview you. We connected through email and decided that what we would do to benefit both of our channels is to have a contest. And the contest is...
So here's how it works. I interviewed her for about 20 minutes, and that video is on her channel. Link in the description. It's probably the most interesting of the two, because you guys know about me. I think you'll want to find out about her. But yeah, she interviewed me, which is the video you're currently watching. Duh. Watch both videos, and the one you like the most, watch again so that it gets the most views. At the conclusion of the contest, which will begin and end simultaneously to make it fair, the video with the most views wins, and the loser chooses from a list of options. If the total of views is... that doesn't make sense. If the total number of views is within 500 views, for example, if A has 1,000 views and B has 1,478, then it's considered a tie, and the tiebreaker goes to whoever gained the most new subscribers during the contest. If you're already subscribed to her channel, awesome. If you're already subscribed to my channel, awesome. But the tiebreaker goes to whoever gets the most new subscribers. So watch both videos and be sure to subscribe. If Spy wins, number one, I would have to eat a bug. Number two option, I would create a fans only page and do cringy clothed dances, which I'm not sure. I don't know very much about fans only, if anyone can join, or what qualifications it takes, but I think that would be more of a punishment for you guys than victory, because I'm certainly not taking off all my clothes, and probably the most I would do is something shirtless and awkward. I don't know. Maybe that's a reason to watch hers. Maybe it's not. The third one, Skippy performs karaoke. Again, you guys, I think that this is more of a punishment for you than a victory for her, because here's a sample of what that would be like. The teensy weensy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain, and I have tons more of that toned voice for you if Spy's video happens to win. Let's get to the main attraction. If I win, first, Spy would let me design her a profile on a dating app. So a dating app that she's not currently on. We'll make a video of us, of her like opening up, creating a new app, and every time it says like, introduce yourself, I get to decide what goes into that. Let me scroll a little bit. Okay, number two. If I win, Spy has to film herself holding a sign in a busy place that says, I lost a bet, my friend Skippy is better than me, donate to his channel at I am Skippy on Venmo. Awesome. And number three, if I win, Spy buys a cardboard cutout of me and films herself going on a date with it. If you want me to win, watch this, maybe watch it again even.
Just the final thing I'll say is that to all 29,000 of my subscribers, go subscribe to her, right? And if people see this and share it,
I think they get the idea. Okay, so yeah, I watched your interview with Jamari Speaks, and he did a really good job kind of covering like your life story, where you've been, how you've been doing, and all that. So today I wanted to dive into your psyche and just really see how you think and what you think. So
okay.
let's get into it. The first question that I have for you is kind of easy.
Oh,
What are you?
time out. Part of this contest, we are timing each interview.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So
And
each interview is just going to be 20 minutes.
Okay, so we've got 20 minutes on there.
First question is pretty easy. What are you most grateful for?
What am I most grateful for? Just in the short term, it's been H3H3 when I was going through a really rough period in October, said to their subscribers, hey guys, we get the feeling like Skippy is having a pretty tough time because on my birthday, I got a notice from my landlord that I was being kicked out or no longer invited to live there again. And I was working at a thrift store and they no longer needed me. So I wasn't fired. They just no longer needed me. How those things happened, and specifically on my birthday. And Ethan reached out and said, hey, Skippy, will you want to talk to you? And I was kind of hesitant because I was depressed and going like, I don't know what's going to happen to me next month. I don't know how. And he goes, that's what we want to talk to you about. They interviewed me and said, hey guys, we're going to put up $1,500. If you want to go help out Skippy on Venmo or PayPal, I'm Skippy, we would encourage you to. And so what they did that day and what people from donating like $5 and like some donated more, but just I got enough money to be able to pay my rent in the place where I'm living right now for 6 months. If it wasn't for them, I just don't want to think about the kind of darkness that I was heading towards with what I was feeling there. So that's what I am the most grateful for, is strangers, who donated when they haven't met me.
Yeah, the kindness of strangers. Yeah, that's really cool. They've been like blessed in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question, I guess it's kind of along the same lines, is what role does love and affection play in your life?
I guess that's a lot. I didn't get along with girls, and so or not didn't get along with girls. I had one older brother, and he's got like hair down to the middle of his back. He's a truck driver. We both grew up Mormon or members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but when he was in his like early teens, started to not rebel, but just kind of have that attitude of like, screw this, man, and he loved Metallica. I loved in 1989 as a New Kids on the Block fan kind of thing. We just had and I was like Amy Grant music and Richard Marx, stuff like that. But he being this kind of like rocker guy, it made sense when he became a trucker, but we didn't have sisters. And my mom and my dad got divorced when we were little. My mom married my stepdad, and my stepdad didn't have any siblings for us to be around. And so with regards to the love question, like I had the love of my mom and my dad and my stepdad, and my brother tolerated me, but I didn't have women around to show me even just how to act normal with girls. And so any relationship-y kind of things that I may have been inclined to want to have, my stepdad did multi-level marketing, right? And because he did that, of course, it didn't really pay anything. And so my mom had to be working all the time. She was kind of the breadwinner of our family because my stepdad was chasing multi-level marketing dreams. She was busy with that and didn't really have time to say, hey, son, here's what I would do if I was you on a dating thing, or just little things like that. So when fast forward, and I'm not good with girls now because I didn't have like a core group of female friends that I fit in with. and I didn't have a big sister to help me, or a little sister to say, hey, bro, you're kind of a loser, blah, 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 go through those things. I just was awkward already with girls. And so as I kind of staggered my way from there, so that's the long version. The short version is very little. Love has very little. What was the exact wording of it?
The role of love and affection in your life.
Yeah, I'm an affectionate person. Like, I love to cuddle, but I think that I love to cuddle for like physical reasons, and because I think that cuddling and all that stuff is cute, not because I have had a history of awesome girls that I've always been, showing love and affection to.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting how you haven't had like, or how do I phrase this? I think it's interesting that you don't have an understanding of women and that you think that you don't know what women want, because what women want from you is you to treat them just like anyone else or just like a friend. So maybe the problem is why you haven't gotten any farther with girls is because from the beginning you kind of place them on a pedestal and you treat them differently than you would a regular, like any other relationship that you're starting, like a business relationship or a friendship. Do you believe that you approach women in a romantic way differently than you approach friendships?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Especially like if I'm my level of attraction to a girl is always there's almost like a sliding scale of it, right? Of like how much of a crush you have on the girl at the beginning, or even how long you've known the girl and when that happens. And just, it's so weird because I'm older than you, you've grown up in a time where there's always been online dating and apps and stuff like that, right? Whereas I grew up in a time where as a going through puberty era, you weren't swiping on girls. You had to go ask them to dance at dances, and there was this awkwardness. You couldn't put on a front of this is what my profile says about me. No, there was just walking up to a girl, and if you were awkward, she judged you the first time on your awkwardness, not on your page, on what your profile said about you. And so in some ways, dating is it's easier-ish when I'm at this point to be able to just have my face and photos out there, and if a person wants to swipe, cool, because I don't have to go approach. Their fingers do the approaching, the profile is how a person meets you in that way, versus the years when I would have had my how to talk to them as I was approaching them kind of thing. Or because now a girl knows all about me when I meet her because of what she has seen either from YouTube videos of me or whatever, if that makes sense. And it really does, I think, make it so that my awkwardness as a kid and my awkwardness as an adult, it's not an act, I was bad as a kid, and so it's been very difficult to shake even small insecurities that I had as a kid.
Do you think that maybe because you brand yourself in a way that plays on your insecurities instead of playing on your strengths?
Well, I think that my strengths both are always visible at the same time. When I go on a date with a girl, I try to do things that I am somewhat good at, because someone gave me the advice one time of okay, first dates, never go to a movie unless you're just trying to score. And if you're just trying to score, you should know in advance if you're going to be able to score. And by the way, score in my growing up was like make out with. It wasn't go have sex kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah, like a good make out was a score. It wasn't set. Oh, and they said not only that, but to a first date is a time when you want to, especially if you want to get like a second and a third date, you want to impress her on the first date. So if you are good at basketball, right, then playfully like go, oh, I've got a basketball in the back kind of thing, not to show her up and to like dunk on her, right, but to just kind of show her something that you're good at. Or if you are an excellent artist kind of thing, when you go out to eat, start doodling on a notepad and show her. That way there is an element of something that you're good at on the date in almost an alpha male way, where you kind of like flex and are like, hey, I'm a man. I'm good at this. I have value. And it's that's just the idea of it, is on a date, show your value. Why should a girl choose you and not someone else, right? But
I think you're viewing it almost in the wrong way. Like you're kind of viewing like, what am I bringing to the table, when the experience should be like, how can I make this the most fun for both of us? And like the basketball thing, like the painting thing, the sketching thing, like if you looked at it a way of like, this is a fun activity for us to do together, unlike I'm going to show this girl how good I am at this, or let me choose something that I'm good at.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you do that like you do that as the entire date. I'm saying that you or that's not how I interpreted it as, right? Because like one of my favorite sayings is, if you can't be great, be memorable, right? And I am not great at many things. Like one of the only things that I would
consider myself. I think you're great. You shouldn't say that. I think you're great at a lot of things.
Well, no, but no. Well, if you knew me, like specifically, like things that, like what on a date could I do with a girl that I'm great at, right? And I'm not great at many things. Like the things that I would identify as is I'm pretty great at my creativity. And so for me, if you guys go watch a date called Skippy and Taylee, that's Taylee, I feel like I'm a pretty creative person. And so Taylee and I went on a date where we went to a dollar store, and I have this thing called the letter, color, number date, right? Where you pick a letter, a color, or a number, right? And it's fun because every time you go out, it's different. Where like if we go on a date and we pick the color blue, but the next time we go on a date, we pick the color pink, it changes the entire date, right? Because everything you do on that date has to have either that letter, that color, or that number on it. So if we pick pink, then wherever we find a place to eat has to have pink involved in some way, right? Or and every aspect of the date. And so with I'm pretty great at being creative and coming up with things like that. So that's a strength of mine, but it's not necessarily the like if it was basketball, yeah, I wouldn't say that you would take a girl out and say, okay, the whole date we're going to play basketball just so you can see how great I am at basketball. So I apologize if I misspoke. The idea of wanting to say, hey, while you're on your date, show her that you are that you're good at things, like and if that's bad advice, that's totally fair. I just thought that as opposed to taking a girl on a date and doing something that you aren't sure you're good at, or that you know you might not be good at, and unless you're good at covering up your gracelessness or your awkwardness, why take a girl skiing if you can't stand the cold? Why take a girl to the beach if you get sunburned easily? Those kind of things, I guess.
I mean, I think it could be fun to step out of your comfort zone and do something that you're not comfortable with, especially if you're experiencing that with a person for a first time. If you guys are both doing it for the first time, that could really be like a bonding experience, rather than if you're just doing something that you know and the other person doesn't know. Like, I feel like your sentiment almost like when you're going on these dates, it is just to, like I said a second ago, to just show what you bring to the table. And women really like, they don't care about your flaws. Like, you don't have to act like a flawless person. Like, you do everything correctly. You don't have to act like you're not awkward, because there's a lot of girls out there who probably act the same way. But if you try to hide yourself or try to come off inauthentic or in a way that you're not really, a lot of people can pick up on the inauthenticity, and then they'll write that off as like even more awkward or maybe even manipulative than if you were just totally yourself and just
what's a date that
absolutely
you would
you.
suggest? What's based on the videos that you've seen or something like that?
Mhm.
What is a date that you would say would be good for me to do or to take a girl on that meets the criteria of what you were just saying?
I think I'm a very classic kind of like girl, so I really enjoy being taken out to dinner. So I would say just take a girl out to dinner. Don't bring her flowers. If they were wildflowers and you pick them yourself, that would be like even cooler. So bring her flowers. No other gifts are acceptable on a first date, just flowers. And then so you take her out for dinner, and then try, I from watching the videos that I have seen, in my opinion, I think what gets you is learning how to listen rather than talk. Or your videos are not like the whole date, so I can't really speak to if like how much of the conversation you're talking for versus how much the other person is talking for. But if you are really serious about this girl, you should try to get her to be talking for like the almost like 80% of the conversation. Like, try not to mention too many things about yourself. But again, if since the videos are cut, I can't really even see if that is happening. As far as any other advice, I like to, if I'm meeting someone for the first time, I really try not to talk about myself. I want them to come out of it and not know nothing about me, because then they'll be thinking like, oh shoot, I didn't ask them this. I'm like curious about them now, and so I'll have to see them the next
Like
time.
leave a
And
little mystery kind of thing, right?
yeah, and they'll feel good too, because they just got to talk about themselves, and everyone likes doing that.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
yeah,
really great advice. I
yeah.
I need to do that more. I do. I talk, but I think it's also easy to do when
Mhm.
it would be like a person going on a date with LeBron James and like him asking them about the other person, but they going like, okay, I'm on a date with LeBron James. I want to ask all the cool LeBron James questions that I can because of that. Or and even if LeBron asks them about them, which definitely does that, there's also the elephant in the room of like, okay, well, there's a lot out there about me, and if
Well,
especially
they'll find it on their own. Then you really don't have to
well,
explain yourself
well
at
yeah,
all.
I guess I mean just like almost because like when I go out, it's easy to talk about. I can't tell girls what not to talk about, right? And so if we get on talking that was
Damn.
do
God.
you want to
All right, I'll let you finish that thought though.
I guess what I meant by all that is that if there's stuff out there about you like there is about me, and there's either videos and things, it's tough to, or at least I have found it's tough to try to change the view of you that they have because they have seen things already. So I kind of, and maybe maybe that's the thing that I need to work on, is find a way
Like,
to go on a date and change the perception of me by being something different than what they've known, while also being true to myself. Because that's, I hear one thing that I have too much of in my life is people that feel that they know what I should do, and advice, but people also that don't know me as well as I know myself. So I constantly am like, okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but also I am insecure about these things. So I can't just, so people make it sound so easy, like, hey, when you go on a date, just do this and this and this. I'm like, oh, okay. So 43 years of having it done the other way, you think that I can just, because you gave me the advice, just drop it all like that? Okay, how? Like
it's very difficult and it takes practice. Don't give up.
I'm just saying it's tough. And then also, if you're trying to be something that you're not, right? If people have given you advice and said, hey, Skippy, try this, and you start to do those things that way, I immediately have 50 people in the comments immediately saying, like, quit trying to be something that you're not, and you don't have to do all the things that this and this and this. And both things are true, right? Both things are true. I should find different ways, because if I'm not in a relationship and I want to be in a relationship and the things I'm working haven't worked, then I should try things a different way. Otherwise, I'll keep getting the what I have. But at the same time, it's also true that if I go on a date with a girl and I do things that are not authentic, there is a bit of playing a part as opposed to being yourself. And the times when I have
so you feel like put in a box by the expectations of your audience.
Well, and not just the expectations of my audience, like genuinely nice people, whether they watch my channel or not, that because we all have we're all critics, we all hear someone or see something of someone else and say, hey, why don't you try it this way, which is great. It's tough when it's easier when a person knows about you and can know upfront if even trying it this way is. And one of the perfect examples is in the comments the last 3 or 4 days, dude, you need to just go get laid, like just get it out of the way, because like sex is such a big deal to you, just go get laid. But I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm a Mormon. I am waiting until I get married until I have sex if I can. And I would say to anyone out there, don't go get laid just because society or people tell you to. Do it when you want to and how it feels right, and do what's best for you. Don't feel pressured by anyone to do something that you don't want to do or that's not right for you. And for me, going and having sex just to be able to scratch it off the list so that sex isn't a big deal to me isn't what's right for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. Yeah. All right. So I have a lot more questions here, but maybe we could just,
yeah,
we might even have to do another interview at a later date. We'll see. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Love y'all.
People will inevitably in the comments be like, Skippy, she was interviewing you, but you just went off on like a 10-minute answer, bro. Like that's what they're going to say, or be like, dude, you need to take the advice that she gave you. Like, I really feel like I can already see the comments write themselves.
The trolls, the haters, don't listen to them. They're just haters.